Welcome aboard. For those that saw my premiere video, I would like to thank you, and I consider that to be my maiden voyage with regards to my entering the world of YouTube. In today's video, we're going to be talking about something that has a similarity to the land-based real estate business, and that is location, location, location. And we're going to be talking about where on the ship do you want your stateroom to be located? Now, for some people, it doesn't matter where they are on the cruise ship. They figure they're only going to be visiting their stateroom from time to time. But for others, there are some considerations to be made. So right now, what I would like you to do is to follow along with the process that you'll find in my guide, Booking to Boarding, on my website, seastodayandcruise.com. And there are some assumptions that we're going to make. We're going to assume that you know that the cruise line that you're going to sail on. And we assume that you know the cruise ship that you're going to be sailing on. And that you also know the type of stateroom you're looking for, whether it's a solo stateroom, interior, ocean view, or balcony. So you may want to have pencil and paper in hand and take some notes along the way. And before we start exploring where on the ship that you would like your stateroom to be, we have to begin with taking a personal inventory of yourself and your fellow travelers. Such criteria including motion discomfort, because a ship does not always maintain a stable environment. If you experience any type of motion discomfort, it's going to help to determine where on the ship you most likely would want to be. In addition to motion discomfort, there's also the issue of mobility. And on some of these larger cruise ships, which we happen to be focusing on, you could be doing some considerable amount of walking. So again, that's going to be part of the criteria that you want to consider in choosing where on the ship you want your stateroom to be. So having said that, let's begin with the forward part of the vessel. Assuming now that you have your tablet, laptop, computer up and running, you've already gone on your cruise line website, you found your cruise ship, you focused on deck plans, and that you're now looking at a profile of your ship. So looking at the forward end of the ship, we can see that it's a little less stable in that it has less ballast and it can have motion depending upon the vessel cutting into the swells and the sea. And it may or may not be an issue for you, but if you are a person who experiences motion discomfort, then you may choose a different portion of the ship to choose your stateroom. Now, on the forward part of the ship, usually you're going to find the theater, which may occupy 2 decks. And at times, if you have a stateroom immediately above the theater, you may experience some of the entertainment down below. And just on the other end, when you look at the amenities on the top of the deck, on the top of the ship, you may want to select a deck that is a little bit further away from the activities on that portion of the ship. So having said that, again, when we talk about mobility, we're talking about what could be a considerable amount of distance between point A, the forward part of the ship, and let's say the main dining area that's usually located on the stern or on the aft portion of the ship. And so that's going to be a factor in selecting your stateroom. So having said that, and moving towards the midship area of the vessel, we have an area that is heavily where most of these staterooms are located. It's going to be more stable because of the number of staterooms and the weight of the vessel. And what the same considerations are giving to selecting a stateroom midship as would be at forward. If you want to determine what venues are located on what decks, which deck has the casino, the jazz clubs, anything that might generate a lot of noise, you may choose to look at staterooms that are 2 or 3 decks above that, just in case there may or may not be any sound transmitted from those venues upwards to the staterooms. And the same thing is true with the topside amenities. You may have a look at your amenities on the website and think, well, maybe I want to choose this deck versus that deck. And of course, because it's midship, you're going to be in a little bit of a more stable environment. And moving towards the stern or the after portion of the ship, that's going to be a little bit even more stable, primarily because the engine room and machinery are located below the waterline between midship and aft. So it's going to be a little bit more stable back there. The bottom decks for the staterooms may experience a little bit of the engine room machinery noise, but hardly anything at all. And the upper decks are pretty clear as far as any noise or disruptions or anything of that nature. So you seem to be looking anywhere from forward to aft, and depending upon your level of motion, discomfort, and the walking, you should be pretty well. There are some larger cruise ships, I must say, that the distance between the main dining areas and the theater could be as long as 3 American football fields, or over 900 feet. And I don't know what that is in meters, but I'm sure that it's quite a distance. And I think that, in summary, choosing the location of your stateroom has to involve several areas of consideration. And I look forward to chatting with you more about this area. And if you have not yet, please subscribe. I look forward to sharing more information and receiving your feedback. Again, our goal is that we provide travel with confidence, cruising with confidence, and we wish you happy sailing and look forward to seeing you again. And welcome aboard. And please hit that subscribe button, and we look forward to it again. Thank you.